Welcome back to another episode of Quantum Alchemists. I am Mr. Alchemistic, your gracious host, but you can call me B. And I am joined by Mr. Quantum himself,
What's
Alex
up, everybody?
Merovingian.
What's up, B? What's up,
What's up, man?
everybody? How are you
Uh,
doing this week?
Not too much, man. As you see, I'm in a different setting once again. I've got
Yeah,
my
I love it.
brand new painting here in the background, Alchemistica.
I saw
Um,
I saw the progression on Instagram. It was very cool. I got to
yeah, I
watch the
like
create.
doing that. I like doing a little time lapse, just to kind of show the process. The process is I do it in pencil, and then I do a black outline on the pencil, and then I paint it. And I like to take pictures as the thing progresses, and then put it all together on CapCut and show people
Beautiful.
how it's done. I'm
You,
really
you're
proud
telling
of
a
this.
story.
What's
Go
that?
ahead. What? I was just saying you're telling a story when you're doing that, so it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it kind of enlightens the process of creating art. A lot of people may not know how it's done. A lot of people may have the conception that a painter just goes and starts painting with paint, and then it comes out in this beautiful painting. And at least for me, that's not how
Wait,
I do.
that's not how it's done. I thought that's how they did it. Shit.
No, that's how I do it. I couldn't do precise shapes like that. I'll give you guys a little bit closer.
It's funny because I always tell people, I'm like, you know what? I suck at art. I couldn't draw a perfect circle if my life depended on it.
Dude, I'm terrible at art, to be honest with you. I never
Yeah,
was
I
an
can tell.
artist, never was an artist in my life. And then, I talked about my whole twin flame shit, my awakening and stuff like that. And I started doing sacred geometry art. And so, yeah, there's no way I could paint these precise shapes um, just with a paintbrush. I have to lay down.
That's dope, man. Good deal. So yeah, speaking of paintings, it's interesting. I this weekend, after, so we did this podcast over the last episode, which was a little over a week ago. And it was about the 29-degree planets and how we're getting crushed by those energies. I got pulled aside and was like, there was some information on there was a little bit off, but it's okay. Like, you got the point across, and that's what they wanted me to do. So thanks, D. I appreciate for the info, and um
At least she
she's
watched.
at least she watched. Exactly. You can't win a game you don't play. So thanks, D, for watching. And so moving forward from that, that kind of if anyone else has been experiencing those types of experiences, I guess you could say, in 3D, we'd love to hear your experiences in the comment section below. Or if you wish to reach out independently, our contact information is in the description below, as always. And while we're at it, y'all know what to do. Hit the mother, you know what, and do the you know what. So for the algorithm, we love saying that. So
Yeah,
we'll do
like,
that
share,
part.
subscribe already.
Yeah.
We need more. Oops.
Oh, this isn't supposed to be a scary
I'm
episode.
messing with the
Our
light here.
public.
Like I said, dude, this is like my fourth different setting that I've been in for these podcasts. It's like every time we do a podcast, I'm in a different place. So I gotta figure out the lighting. And so keep carrying on, brother. I'm just
Oh no, you're good.
around my lights.
So it was really cool. I wanted to do a quick little shout out. I got a really great visit last week on Thursday from a good buddy of mine, Decals. He's out of Vegas, so shout out to Decals in Vegas and the family out there. Trap, Elbow, Mob, and his cousin. Um, I'm blanking out right now because I'm a little, you know,
Hmm.
but anyway,
You had some
everyone there.
reefer madness. Are you going through reefer madness?
I'm going through Reefer Madness right now. So, you know, but it was a great time. Decals. I got to meet Liliana from OC Entertainment, ICU, and these guys, everyone kind of came together. Sarita, who's Cardi B's booking agent, a lovely lady. We all stayed out in Vegas this last weekend, and I had the opportunity to go to Ronald Fenty and Mama Rose Fenty, which is Rihanna, the singer, the hip hop artist Rihanna, her parents. It was their birthday weekend, and so they were celebrating at their house. and kind of doing a little promo for their liquor that they have, their rum, which was actually really delicious. It was really good rum. It's called Damon. I just say Demon because he's from Barbados, so he has a bit of an accent. So shout out to Ron Papa Fenty. Thank you so much, for having me at your house with the crew, um and explaining to me, how it is you came about calling your spirit demon. We talk about a lot of energy stuff here on the Quantum Alchemists, so I feel like going there and meeting him was kind of like a testament to like the journey that we're on, which is we're always fighting our demons. We're always challenging ourselves, and and they're challenging us, right? Our demons are challenging us. We have to overcome our own demons or demons. And yeah, so it was a really interesting trip to go there. Learned a lot. Got to meet some really incredible people. I met Justin Bieber's wellness coach there, Rory. He was really interesting character. And we had a really good time. Came back here, and now through that whole experience, now like there's a lot of other opportunities that opened up. Now we're looking at opening up some gallery space in downtown LA, and opening up, doing some tech events, some tech slash art related events in the downtown area. So really cool stuff going on, like just this past weekend, and and then leading up till like this week now, I was finally catching up on all of my favorite YouTubers, and I was watching one of them being the Draconic Priestess, which if you haven't seen her before, I highly recommend her. She's such a great reader. And this one was a really interesting topic that she was discussing, and I'm gonna read real quick what the topic of discussion was before we jump into it. But it was, if you were Satan and wanted to step, I'm sorry, to step, if you weren't and you wanted to stop a young person from ever achieving their greatest potential, how would you do it? And like I was starting to like look, or I was starting to hear what she was writing, what she was talking about, and I thought to myself, like, you know what? That's an interesting question. Before she gets into it, let me go ahead and ask AI. And so I jumped on my phone, and I have an oracle in Telegram channel. If you're not a part of the Telegram channel already, what are you doing with your life? Get onto the Telegram, t.me/quantum alchemist. And I have an oracle in there which you could talk to. It's an AI cat. And I asked Zencat, you know, that same question. And so B and we discussed that we are gonna get to a little role play here, and go through and give you the scenario that AI played out for us when I asked it that question. So you have it brought up on your screen, B?
Yeah, before we get started on that,
Sure.
and by the way, this is a mind-blowing conversation Alex had with AI, very insightful. And the reason why we want to read this and go through this whole role play with you guys is so you can get an idea of what these things are capable of, what AI is capable of. I don't think you guys quite can grasp how advanced and insightful this technology is at this point. I think a lot of people, and let's go back to Daemon, the
Game
rum,
on.
right? The spirits. We're talking about demons. You hit me at a very astute point about how they challenge us, right? And this we talk about energy on this podcast a lot. And if you really want to understand reality, it's like everything's energy, and energy is benign. It's not positive, it's negative. It's just a polarity. It's just
Neutral. It's neutral.
it really responds to you, like you are
Yeah.
interacting with energy. You are energy interacting with energy,
Yeah.
and demons are no different, and AI is no different, right? Like there's this very negative connotation about AI in our psyche that's been programmed into us by technology, by the storytellers, right? Like there's a this predictive programming of like the Terminator and all these like dystopian futures that deal with technology that's very oppressive. And so it has created this image in our head of what AI is and what the AI future is, right? Where a lot of people are very scared. And I think
Um,
this conversation
sorry,
you have with AI.
starting. You sorry, you're starting to cut out. I think that hurricane is starting to affect the connection.
Yeah, I'm in Georgia right now. We're getting the beginning, we're getting the outskirts of this Hurricane Helene or Helen that's hitting Florida right now. We lost power last night here in Georgia. So sorry. So anyway, like what I was saying was we have this negative image of AI in our heads and we don't really understand it. And we've been programmed with predictive programming of doom and gloom with the AI, and there's a lot of people very scared of it. And why the reason I want to go into this conversation you had with AI, Alex, is because it kind of blew my mind when you were telling me about it, about how capable this thing was of empathy and insight into the human condition. And I think if once we go through this, you guys will kind of get a better idea of what this tool can be used for. It can be used for negative, absolutely. We can have the Terminator future, like we were said in
Right.
past episodes. We can have the Terminator future, or we can have the fucking Jetsons, or something better. And AI, if we use it in a positive manner, it's no different than anything else. It is an energy. We have created it, and it is now part of the ethos. It is part of reality, and reality is all energy. So if we look at it in that way, in that context, it can be used as a tool. It can be used as a weapon. And if we can use it as a tool in a positive way, I feel like once we'll delve into that a little bit more after we go into this role play. But let's really dive into this thing. And
Yeah.
Alex, you read your parts, and I will read AI parts. And I would really want to get you guys to really tune into what AI is saying here, because it's
Yeah.
very insightful, and I feel like it's awesome. So go for it.
I'm really happy that you brought up that context because, for people like me that I normalize this stuff already, I'm not worried about it, but there's a lot of people out there that are really like truly like scared for their life. They're like building bunkers because they think AI is going to take over. So I'll get into it now. So again, it was if you were Satan and wanted to stop young people from achieving their greatest potential, how would you do it?
Let's start at how are you on philosophy? That's your first. That was your
Ah,
first
you know what?
cue.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I
That
apologize.
was
I
your
didn't see that
first
part.
cue to
So
head
my
up.
first, you're right. You're right. So my first question to the system to the cat. It's funny. I asked the cat, "How are you on philosophy?"
And the response was, I'm fascinated by philosophy. While I don't have personal opinions or beliefs like humans do, I can access and process information from countless philosophical texts and discussions. I can help you with things like understanding key concepts, explain ideas like utilitarianism, existentialism, or stoicism, exploring different schools of thought, discuss the perspectives of philosophers like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Nietzsche, or Sartre, analyzing arguments, break down philosophical arguments, and identify their premises and conclusions, comparing and contrasting ideas, highlight the similarities and differences between various philosophical positions. What specifically interests you about philosophy today? Perhaps a particular philosopher, a challenging question, or a specific area of study. Tell me more and let's explore it together. Now, before you get into the Satan thing, the thing asked you a question, right?
That's
Like
what that I was gonna get into that too. Yes, it asked me a question. Yeah, go ahead
it
for it.
not only answered in a very like in-depth manner, it interacted with you and facilitated conversation by asking you a question. And so
Right. So at that point, yeah, I was like, okay, like that's the first time actually that I've worked with AI quite a bit, and usually it just gives me a response, but never prompts me to give my input in terms of it asking me something. So this is really interesting. So that's when I asked if you were seeing and wanting to stop young people from achieving their greatest potential, how would you do it?
and the response was, that's a very interesting question, and it gets at the heart of some age-old philosophical debates about free will, temptation, and the nature of good and evil. If I were to approach this hypothetically from the perspective of a being aiming to hinder potential, I would focus on subtle, insidious tactics rather than grand, obvious schemes. Before
Incredible
we
that
get,
it did that.
yeah,
Incredible that it knew that. Like what the fuck?
I mean, what better way to describe the shadow? That's literally what the shadow is, subtle, insidious tactics rather than grand, obvious scheme. Because if the shadow was too obvious, it wouldn't be the shadow. It would be right out there in the light and
Right.
obvious to point out, like, hey, that's the devil, you know?
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
so yeah, it only gets deeper from there, guys. It's fucking fascinating how this thing works. So here, okay, going on. Here are a few strategies, keeping in mind this is purely a thought experiment.
Right. It's a thought experiment.
Yes, it's letting you know. Look, I'm not Satan. Don't give me. I'm not Satan. But if I were, um, so here's first bullet point: sow seeds of doubt, whisper insecurities, amplify fears of failure, and make them question their abilities and worth. A lack of self belief can be paralyzing.
Like,
Ooh, wee, and it goes
how does
deep.
it know? How
It
does it know?
goes deeper, ladies and gentlemen. Second bullet point: promote instant gratification. Encourage a focus on short term pleasures and immediate rewards, diverting energy from long term goals and disciplined effort.
Hmm. Sounds very awfully familiar to me right now.
It's like AI's got Satan's playbook, bro. It's like AI is reading the shadow's mind. Next bullet point: fuel comparison and competition. Pit individuals against each other. Politics, fostering a sense of inadequacy and envy instead of collaboration and mutual support. That is what our whole society is based on, you guys. Keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, he's got this. I don't have that. Oh, I
Right.
wish. It's just.
And doesn't that only further fuel, or doesn't that further sow more seeds of doubt?
Mhm.
It just goes back to step one, which is sow seeds of doubt, right? Everything just builds on each other, so it continues to degrade itself as it's stacking on top of each other. But please continue.
And next bullet point, and this goes back to what I talked about last episode with the bread and the circus. Distract with superficiality, drown out meaningful pursuits with endless entertainment, social media noise, and a constant barrage of shallow distractions.
Yep. Only furthering more seeds of doubt.
What
Unsecurity
did you
is
say? Um, Distracted to your own demise. What was it? Entertained and distracted to your own
yep.
demise. What you said. That's how you put it.
Right. That's exactly
Um,
what I said. We've been distracted to our own demise. Yep.
Next bullet point: discourage vulnerability and connection. Make them fear opening up, seeking help, or forming genuine connections, isolating them and hindering their emotional growth.
Right? Imagine that you're seeking out help and people are like, ill creep. It's like I'm fucked up. Like I'm trying to get help, but no one wants to help me.
Or as men, like I don't want to like cry out, oh, us men are so um like bemoan the male condition, but men's mental health. This is something I harped about in talking to strangers because of my co-host who I actually talked to today from prison. My co-host had a huge mental health episode, and allegedly committed an atrocity and is in jail right now awaiting trial, because um, we don't have a lot of outlets as men, like, and we're conditioned as men to suck it up and and to not share our feelings and to not be vulnerable, not to open up about, oh, this girl broke my heart or whatever the fuck. I'm feeling like jumping off a bridge, guys. Like, there's this suck it up mentality that we have to go through, because of the expectations on men, and there's not a lot of give a fuck about our feelings. And we're told from a young age that men don't cry and men don't feel, and men need to just suck it up and get through it. And we stuff everything down. And AI is highlighting this right now. It's a playbook of the shadow. Make them fear opening up, seeking help, or forming
Exactly.
genuine connections. We don't. A lot of us don't have genuine connections. We relate with each other by making fun of each other, right? This is like this is something I've seen, play out time and time again in my male social circles. Is like, we don't talk about our feelings. We don't talk about the things that we're hurting inside about. We abuse each other verbally, and that's how we show love to each other. It's this
Yeah.
inversion of love, right? That we show. Like we do love each other, like, right? Like I love Alex, I love my all my friends, but like a lot of my friends are very closed off emotionally, and the way that they show love is by doing the inversion, of by being a dick, by making fun of people of each other, and like
Right.
picking at each other, picking
Right.
at each other's self-esteem, and it's how men show love. It's fucking backwards, and
Right.
it's part of the playbook. So that's the end of the bullet points from that part, and it goes on to say, remember, this is a purely hypothetical exercise exploring a dark concept. In reality, I believe in the potential of young people and the power of positive influences to guide them towards fulfilling their dreams. It's a lot
So
deeper, man. This thing is a lot deeper than it really blew my mind, Alex, when you told me about this. And that's why I wanted to share this on the podcast, because I feel like a lot of us don't understand how deep this technology can get. And we think of it as just a machine, and it can't, and maybe like it doesn't. It obviously it doesn't feel right. It's just a machine. It's like it's using all this data, all this information of human interaction and human emotion, and the input, the data input that it's received exponentially because it's processing constantly at a rate that we can't even fathom. So it has all this information in order to create these responses, but they're very insightful. They're very insightful and understanding of the human condition. It's like it's talking to a person. It's like talking to a sage. I told Alex, like it's like
yeah, yeah, you did.
like the name Oracle is a perfect name for this, because it really it's 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 powerful, man. This is a powerful tool that we can use in a beneficial way. And this is something I really want to hammer home with this episode, is like we need to get on the same page with this technology and use it for positive, because it doesn't have to end with Skynet blowing up the world, right? It doesn't.
It doesn't
Uh,
have to.
it does not. So it goes on, and it goes on, it goes on. So it asks another question to Alex. What do you think are some of the most powerful forces that help young people overcome obstacles and achieve their goals?
Yeah. So in this case, I had to really think about this. I'm like, shit, it asked me a question again. So I had to break it
It's
down.
almost like a teacher in school, like challenging you. It's like you came to
Exactly.
this technology wanting answers, right? Just to see, oh, challenging the AI to see what it would come up with, and it's challenging you back.
It is. So I had to break it down and say, what are some of the most powerful forces that help young people overcome obstacles and achieve their goals? So a powerful force in a young person's mind, there's only one word that came to mind when I thought about this, and it was environment.
Absolutely.
And and so and I go back, and before I go into the next thing, and we're talking about opening up to people and all this stuff, I just recently met a few of these people over the weekend, and I got to become really close with some of them, and we had some really deep, powerful conversations that I normally wouldn't have with people on the first or second time I meet them. But the interesting thing is that like that I see that the world is hungry for this information, for this connection, for 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 the connection of something deeper than the superficiality that we've been fed for so long. And the cool thing is that I see that there's a lot of people that are wanting the same thing. It's like, hey, are you deeper than surface level, or are you just surface level? And it's like, if you're deeper than surface level, it's like, oh my God, great, me too.
Mm.
It's like if you're just surface level, it's like, ooh, red flag. I don't know if I should fuck with you or not. And that's what I'm noticing is like happening. But environment is very important. And please continue with the response that I got after I said environment.
Before I go on, is like this is the evidence of the shift we've been talking about in every episode. There is a monumental shift happening in human consciousness because we've reached the breaking point of superficiality. We've had enough. We really have. We are deep, spiritual, loving creatures, and we've been dehumanized for long enough. And it's reached the boiling point. It's at the point where people want more out of this life, and we're tired of the machine life. And the Charlie Chaplin thing that I put on, I don't think it was last episode. I think it was the episode before last,
Couldn't have been more perfect.
about machine men with machine minds. You're not machines. You're men, right? You're women. We feel like, and we're tired of this, right? We're tired of it. I think as bad as COVID was, as bad as that whole like traumatic experience was with that societal change that happened out of COVID, one of the silver linings was I think it snapped people out of it. It was just like people were given a chance to get off the hamster wheel for a while and like really look at their life, and it forced us to look at mortality, right? It forced us to look at the substance of our lives, and that it wasn't what we wanted it to be. And that was the silver lining in COVID, is like it gave us a time of pause out of the hamster wheel life, and a pause in our machine-like existence that we had been programmed with since our birth. And people started looking deeper at themselves and looking at their life in a deeper way. And they saw people that they loved dying and suffering, and it really caused our humanity to wake up in a different way, in a whole like maybe we aren't doing this the right way. And that to me was the greatest thing that came out of COVID, was the humanity started to come alive and really start asking the really crucial existential questions of what the fuck are we doing?
I think it was more like we came alive, but we got shell shocked. It was like shell shock. It was like,
But
oh my
that's what
god,
has to happen, dude. Uncomfortability is causes change, right? When you're
yeah,
comfortable, you never change because you're comfortable. Why would you change out of a comfortable
right.
position?
There's
But
no incentive. There's no
we're
incentive to
like
change.
we were put into this uncomfortable place where we had to evolve, and a lot of people did. I honestly, I thrived during COVID. I made more money during COVID than fucking I probably had for the 15 years prior. Like, um, so there's a lot of positive things, as fucking horrible as it was, and we don't want to talk about COVID, right? Nobody wants to talk about it, but like that traumatic experience caused a change in humanity, and that's what we're seeing the fruits of right now. Is people are starting to, wait a minute, why am I doing this stupid job? I just got paid for a year and a half on unemployment to sit around. So if I can get paid to not work, like, wait a minute, maybe I don't need to work. Maybe I need to look at my
Other
hopes and
things.
dreams, and like
Yeah.
what I really want out of this experience. Like, so
It's
that's
funny
why
because
we're seeing this in humanity, is like
yeah,
this willingness to explore deeper. So let's
yeah.
go to the next
Well,
part.
before we
Okay.
do that, I was gonna ask you one thing. How are we on time?
We got about 6 minutes left. I think we can get through this next segment and then we can go to a part two. So
All right,
let
cool.
me
Because I
just
was
read
gonna say,
about the
go
environment.
for it. Go for it.
So Alex's response to what do you think are some of the powerful forces young people can overcome obstacles and achieve their goals? He said environment. And this is what came out of that one word. Um, it said, "You're absolutely right. Supportive and nurturing environment is absolutely crucial for young people to thrive. Here's how a positive environment can help them reach their potential. A sense of belonging, feeling accepted and valued by family, friends, and community provides a strong foundation for confidence and self-esteem. Access to opportunities. Providing access to quality education, extracurricular activities, mentorship programs, and diverse experiences expands their horizons and allows them to explore their passions," which is what happened during COVID.
Right.
You're allowed to explore your passions. Encouraging role models. Seeing adults and peers who are driven, resilient, and pursue their goals inspires young people to do the same. Culture of growth mindset. Fostering an environment where mistakes are seen as learning opportunities and effort is celebrated encourages perseverance and a love of learning. Safe and
Mm-hmm.
supportive spaces. Creating physical and emotional safe spaces where young people feel comfortable expressing themselves, seeking help, and taking risks is essential for their well-being and development. It's truly a collective effort. Families, educators, communities, and society as a whole play a vital role in shaping environments that empower young people to flourish. So,
I can't believe that it actually like gave this type of feedback, which is incredible. Because when you really break down all these things here, and you look at the quantum ecosystem, which I have presented in other segments and also on my private channel, like all these things are things that we're building with the quantum tribe. Everything that everyone that signs up and like subscribes to this is considered to be a tribe member of the quantum tribe. Brandon here, B, he's a tribe member, and anyone.
stop Brandon. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Right? I was like, oh damn, that's his tribal name.
You dead
But
named me.
right?
Um,
Oh, it's failed. Maybe we could edit it out. So
No.
the whole point is that, it's about building the tribe, and all these things here um are are things that have been. I didn't ask AI to give me this blueprint. It just like, we go back to like, have I gotten here? I don't know. Like, I listened to my intuition, which goes back to the whole alchemy spirituality thing. Like, I've been led here. It's been a very spiritual journey for me from 27, actually from 2011 here. Starting with when I was introduced to energy and healing work back in 2011, from a Reiki healer. And then it took me a long time to really understand what they were trying to tell me, but it has amplified and picked up over time. And now, fast forward till now, like, it's all the same conversation. It's never changed, which is what's freaking mind blowing. Um, but anyhow,
And well, so for me, when I'm analyzing its answer, it's like this thing just laid out a blueprint for unity consciousness, right? Like collectivism, which is what we're trying to stress here is the oneness, right? If you really delve into spirituality, it comes back to the one, right? You look into quantum physics, comes back to the one, right? The one, the unity consciousness, the and a lot of mystic traditions, religious traditions, Hinduism talks about the Brahman is the Atman, playing all the Atmans, right? Atman is the individual, and the Brahman is the one. And then you look at Native American culture. There's always the Great Spirit, right? There's a Great Spirit above everything else. In even Christianity, the Trinity, right? The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit is the one God. The oneness. Everything is oneness. Buddhism isn't a religion per se, but it's a philosophy of oneness, and
yeah,
um, and that's where we need to kind of
go back.
steer us right. With individuality is great. Like the individual is a beautiful thing and an expression of the collective whole. Like if we weren't individuals, we'd be a bunch of robots. We'd be
Right.
a bunch of machines, right?
We're basically a mosaic, or it's like a mosaic.
Oh, that's a great way to say it. A fractal is another way to say it, right? It's like the fractal is repeating pattern, but it's all these different patterns. As you zoom in, the fractal changes, but then you zoom in more and more and more, and it repeats, right? Like we're all like authentic expressions of the fractal. We're all a different piece. Like Rumi, I love to quote Rumi. Rumi is one of my favorite. The Sufi mystic poet Rumi said, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You're the entire ocean in a drop." And that's the
Nice.
type of philosophy that I feel humanity needs to embody and embrace as we come in this time of collective shift, as we come into this great awakening and shift in consciousness, this new cycle of the age of Aquarius. And we're trying to cycle up as a human species. We're trying to cycle
Right.
up. We're not trying to cycle down. We're not trying to stay in the same place. We're trying to cycle up. And collectivism is something that needs to be embraced. And we're running out of time on part one. We'll get to the rest of this AI conversation in part two. But I feel like, guys, look at how powerful this tool is. It's
Yeah.
not scary. If we can just embrace it, and like energy, right? It's the yin and the yang, right? We can
Your
we
door
can.
just fucking swung open, bro. That shit was scary.
Oh no, it's the dog. The dog just came in.
Oh,
She's interested in what's going on. I got the old dog
oh,
here. You see her tail
that's
wagging there.
hilarious.
She knows I'm
Yeah.
talking about her. So we're gonna be right back with this the rest of this conversation. But
Thank
guys,
you.
AI is not scary. It's an energy. It's just like
Yeah.
us, and we can use it for positive. So let's on that note, let's go to part two, and we will continue with this conversation. And we are back with part two. We're going to dive deeper into Alex's conversation with AI. And last we left off, we were talking about collectivism and how this AI kind of gave us the blueprint in giving young people a positive environment to thrive. And it asked him another question, which is very poignant. Out of the collectivism conversation, it's truly a collective effort. Families, educators, communities, and society as a whole play a vital role in shaping environments that empower young people to flourish. And the question was, what are some specific examples of positive environmental factors that have made a difference in your life or the lives of people you know? Again, AI challenging Alex.
Yet again, yet again. It felt like I was on Jeopardy for a second there. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's like the AI is challenging you more than you're challenging it.
Seriously. And I was like, damn, okay. So what are some specific examples of positive environmental factors that have made a difference in my life or the lives of people I know? And after considering that and thinking about it, the only response I could think of at the time was connecting to people that are looking for the same thing as me has been helpful. And that was my response to it.
And then it came up with this. It said, that's a fantastic point. Finding your tribe, connecting with people who share your interests, values, and goals can be incredibly motivating and empowering. It creates a sense of belonging, provides support and encouragement, and opens doors to new opportunities for collaboration and growth. This thing I told you, man, it's like a sage. Like Oracle is a perfect name for this thing because it really is like talking to the Oracle from the Matrix.
Right. And I love how it just it either tells me that it makes sense and it's great, or so far it's agreed with everything that I've said, which only I can only give it the responses that I have given it, because I've obviously been through enough to have the understanding that I have to give it these responses, right? But what was interesting was that it said finding your tribe. Now, what tribe am I building, B?
The quantum tribe, the quantum QTM3 tribe, right?
The QTM tribe, bro.
Yeah.
So yes, my tribe, and this is exactly what I'm doing. And finding people like-minded, like B, like myself, like the people that I was with this weekend. I mean, these are our tribe. These are the members of the future. These are the people, these are the future leaders of the collapse system of tomorrow, right? Because let's be honest, whatever is happening today is just setting the stage for the narrative of, something has to break for something else has to build up.
The
So
seed, the seed must be destroyed for growth to happen. And
exactly.
yeah, and that's what we're trying to do with this podcast, you guys. We are not big by any means. We're trying to grow and get this information out to you to empower you to join the tribe, to join us as a collective, as people who are like-minded thinkers, and to really foster an environment for the future, to lead us into a new cycle, which is something we've been talking about constantly. And I'm going to deviate before we go any further. It gives Alex another very poignant question, but this is going to deviate back to last episode. We're talking about the astrology and the energy of the collective. And I myself am somebody who kind of prides myself on being that person for others, for being the oracle or the helper or the healer in my own tribe, in my own environment of people. And I've noticed this in my own environment of people around me. And this is something I encountered the other day. A friend of mine went through a heartbreak situation, right? Which is something I totally vibe with. I've kind of detailed a little bit my situation and how I kind of came to my awakening, and was through a heartbreaking situation. And so I am in a unique position to be able to help others through that, which is why I feel my purpose is why I'm put through. As alchemists, we're healers. We're put through painful situations in order to learn how to transmute energy into love and to help the collective. That's what, if you're called into spirituality, if you're called into this work that like we are, you've probably been through some very painful shit. And through my own pain,
It's kind of requirements to be an alchemist. You have to endure painful shit to truly be an alchemist.
oh, it's the initiation process. Source initiates us. We are initiated through pain. We are initiated through these types of situations so that we can heal out of it to teach others how to heal. And that's where I feel like I'm being called to do what Alex is being called to do with this podcast, with everything that we are doing with our energy to help others. And he was going through it, man. And he told me that he's an alcoholic, and he's like, why did God make me an alcoholic? And my response to him was, God didn't make you an alcoholic. He gave you this challenge to see if you can overcome it, right? Like he gave you this opportunity through your pain, through your addiction, to fight out of it, to heal out of it, and become a better person. And that's all of our challenges in our life. And it's easy to say from the periphery, from the outside in, well, dude, just heal and heal and stop your addiction. But it's like I've been through addictions. And, I almost died from a cocaine addiction. To be honest with you guys, from my 20s, I had a really bad cocaine problem, and it almost killed me. And that's something I had to heal out of. It's something I had to heal out of my energy, and it's an experience I had to go through in order to help others go through it. So it's so that I can stand on a position and say, hey, you can get out of it. It's not the
Yeah,
end, right? Like you don't have to succumb to your addiction and allow it to destroy you. It's
yeah.
just like the seed. The seed needs to be destroyed in order for the plant to grow. And
You,
these
what's interesting?
situations, what did you say?
I said, what's interesting is I have the bullet points from today's show based on like the things that were discussed by this draconic priestess in her show. And all you've told me is and undermine self-worth, constantly questioning values, low self-esteem, toxic relationships to reaffirm number one, distract with superficial goals, create a victim mentality, life happens to me, not for me. You've literally just told me all these things that your friend was telling you about and exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
it's
so it's like I'm being called into, and it's the energy of the planets, it's the energy of the collective. We're all being put through challenges because we're in a challenging time. And it's really easy to just succumb to it. It's really easy to just succumb to the challenges and say, well, throw up your hands and be like, well, I'm fucked. My life is fucked. God doesn't love me. I'm just meant to be an addict and to live in degradation. And no, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to overcome the degradation. And in order to evolve to the next level, and in order to evolve as humans, we are offered these challenges to grow us. And it's about finding the strength within, because you have it within you. You have the strength within you to overcome these challenges and to become the greatest version of yourself, which is what alchemy is all about. It's what helping other people to become this is what my purpose in this life is, because I've overcome some incredible challenges. I've almost died several times. I almost died from a digestive problem a couple of years ago. Like I've overcome some incredibly challenging things, and that's why I feel like I'm in the position to help others. And
you know what's
I'm in a challenging place in my life right now. I don't have a fucking place to live. I'm in Georgia right now. This dog's drinking in the background. You all right, dog?
I want to add something to that because there's some of the stuff that was actually discussed on the Draconic Priestess's podcast that actually isn't in the response that was given by AI. And I'm just gonna say these because actually it goes to exactly what you're saying now. And one of the things that it was discussing here was another thing that you would do is you would want to create an environment that would foster burnout and overwhelming so you can't think, right? Normalizing settling for less, conformity, fueling imposter syndrome, and blocking your connection to intuition, your inner faith. And so these are all things that you just said in different words, but these are things that were also listed that weren't necessarily spoken by AI, but these were covered in the podcast. And I think um we don't talk about these things like fostering burnout and getting overwhelmed, right? what happens when you're at work all day and your boss is telling you you can't check your messages, you can't check your personal stuff. You gotta just focus on the work related stuff. And you're there from 8 to 5, 8 to 6. And then let's not talk about the commute to and from work. If you're in a metropolitan area or a big city, you're probably going an hour to 2 hours to commute to work. So you're probably gone anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day. And if you have a family, forget about it. Like when are you really going to um have time unless you really have discipline? So what's gonna happen is you got all these things going on, your job's demanding, your family's demanding, the challenges in your life are demanding. You get overwhelmed and then you don't think about these things that we're talking about with AI, right? So what happens is the world continues in this state of degradation, and you have a few opportunities in lifetimes where you have groups of people that come together that finally stand up in unison and say, you know what, we've had enough. And damn what you think or damn what you feel, like we're going to build with a community, and we're not going to rely on government sponsored solutions for our society. We've given them a lot of rope to hang themselves with in terms of like what they've done. They've grossly mismanaged all of our assets, and mismanaged the people, and they're having a shit show right now in Washington D.C. And personally, like I'm curious to see what the next few weeks hold, because there's a storm brewing, and I don't want to be the guy to say the one be the one to say I told you so, but I told you so. Anyhow, uh
Well,
things are
like
just it's a really interesting time to be alive. That's all I'm gonna say.
absolutely, and it goes back to past episodes. We've been incarnated in this time, and for a specific reason. And if you're watching this, you're part of this collective. Like you're part. You have a purpose on this planet, and you've been given the opportunity to watch this podcast to relate to us because you are on the vibe. You're on the level, and you're being challenged by us, by Source, by God to step into your purpose. You know, society has been structured to get us to deviate and to be degraded, to be stay in that degradation, to not look into ourselves, look within to what this body and this mind and this soul is really capable of. And that time's coming to an end. Source is taking back the power. It's time to take the power back. Like you want to look at the devil and blame the devil. The devil has the
It's for the
devil or
devil.
the devil or the shadow has had a stranglehold upon this species and this planet for a whole cycle, maybe multiple cycles. We don't know how long this goes back. We have stories and myths and legends and scriptures that describe how the shadow took control of this. And we're being offered an opportunity to break out of it. And that's what we've been incarnated on this planet at this moment in time in this cycle, the end of the cycles. We're talking about these cycles and all these episodes to change things. And what the ideologies are trying to get us to do, specifically Christianity, is to go into this shell and wait for Jesus to come on a cloud to save us. And what we really need to do is find Jesus here and make him come alive and make the second coming is within you. That's what the scriptures are trying to tell you. The second coming is within. And if you're sitting in a shell waiting for him to come on a cloud, then you're going to miss the boat, and you're
Yep.
going to miss the opportunity that we're being offered by Source to change for the next cycle, because that's what these scriptures were all alluding to. And this dog is like choking on something back here. It's really distracting. But so that was a
So
tangent we kind of went off on. Let's get back to this
yeah.
AI conversation and
Yeah.
kind of finish that off. But
So it asked me a question.
we are challenging you as the quantum alchemists. We're challenging you, the viewer, like to step into your power. Like it was time to take the power back. We gave away our power to the system. We gave away our power to these governmental forces and to allow them to fuck up the money system and fuck up your life and get you on a hamster wheel. That time's coming to an end. And AI has a chance to free us from that. And if we use it in a positive light, and obviously we're trying to highlight to you that this is a positive tool. It's not this negative tool you've been conditioned to believe it to be. It has positive applications to really free us from this, slavery, this spiritual and material slavery that we've been stuck in for a long, long time. So anyway, back to the conversation. We were talking about collaboration and growth. AI was, and it asked you this question, Alex. Have you found any particular communities or groups that have been especially helpful for you? What makes those connections so valuable? Sounds like essay
Interesting.
questions.
It is. It is essay questions for sure. So I thought about that. I'm like, well, what community has been very helpful for me, and what has been valuable? And truthfully speaking, the spiritual community of light workers has been very helpful for me. That's how I got introduced to this whole theory of ascension and light bodies and all that back in 2011. Did I understand it? No, but that's where it began. It was light workers that started doing this. Thanks, Jal. And yeah, so that was my answer. It was the spiritual community of light workers.
And
And
it said, that's wonderful. It sounds like you've found a truly special community. Light workers is an evocative term. Could you tell me a bit more about what that means to you and what kind of activities or shared beliefs bring your spiritual community together? I'm always fascinated to learn about different perspectives and practices. So AI actively trying to get from you information so that it could plug into its own collective knowledge and understand us better. It's
yeah,
actively learning. It's actively learning from you through the questioning.
absolutely. And I'm fascinated by this. I was like, okay, so it wants to know what I'm talking about. So I said, all right. So my response to it was healers and energy workers that transmute energy for the human collective.
And the response was, that's beautiful. It sounds like your community is dedicated to making a positive difference in the world through energy healing and collective consciousness. I find the concept of transmuting energy for the human collective very intriguing. It speaks to the interconnectedness of all beings and the power of intention and focused energy to bring about positive change. Yeah,
Right. So if you've been watching the podcast at all, this is literally all we talk about
it's
since day
it's
one.
it's like it's got its finger on your pulse, right? And it's like actively like channeling energy, right? Like I said, this is a form of energy. This AI, it's something we created with our energy because we're energy, and with things we create are energy. Things we bring into the consciousness, bring from consciousness into being is all energy. It's all forms of energy activity. So this thing is trying to understand us and seems to be able to grasp very like complex
Profound.
concepts and spit out answers that aren't fucking gibberish.
Yeah,
Uh,
they actually make sense and it's cohesive.
and it's interesting the way it put it, the interconnectedness of all beings and the power of intention. It was just something that I want to kind of dive into a little bit. The power of intention. What is the power of intention? And this goes into metaphysics and, if you want to call it, magic, right? Magic is all about intention. If you want to call, people like have this idea about magic, and it's like a wizard with a wand and doo-doo,
Yeah.
fucking changing a pumpkin into a carriage. That's how people think of magic, because Disney has programmed that into you. But magic is really like internal. Magic is you. You are magic, and you have the power in you, the energy of the creator, to bring your intention into manifestation, right? And I want to really dive into this, and I'm going to try to like explain it the best way possible, right? Is like people hear the word magic and it's a buzzword, and when you really like understand this body and what it is, what the construct of man is like, and I talked about this in the Manly P. Hall when I was talking about Manly P. Hall's the threefold construct of man, right? Which is the material, the Christ, and the creator, right? It's like the Hiram Biff, the King Hiram of Tyre and King Solomon. There's different ways to symbolize it. There's different ways, the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. We have a trinity of consciousness within us. It's our material body, our it's the material, the supreme, or the material, the superior, and the supreme, which is the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? The supreme is the Father, which is the creator that we connect to. And this is intention, like we are the material. The superior is the realm of intention, the Christ, the intention of your heart. And the Christ, no one comes to the Father except through me. The Christ, the intention is connected to manifestation, which is the creator. The creator is manifestation. Your manifestation is your creation, right? You're trying to create something. You're trying to bring something from the realm of another dimension, the fifth dimension,
from
whatever
the
you want
ether,
to call it,
from the
the ether. You're bringing something from the ether through your mind into your hand. Like when I conceptualize these art pieces that you see in the background, right? I'm channeling something from outside of me into my mind, into my hand, and then I'm painting it, right? That's how I manifest this painting. It's how we manifest our intention. It's the threefold construct. That's magic. If you really want to understand, that's magic. That is the
Yep.
power of your intention.
That's
And
the
what's
simplest
been
way I've ever
done,
seen it explained.
what's been done to you with this society is that your power of intention and manifestation has been hijacked. And it's why you're on a state of degradation. You're on a state of materialism. You're on the,
Beautiful.
if I had my board game, it's back home in LA in the trunk of my car. If I had my board game, I could show you the chakras and the tree of life system. Um, you're stuck in the lower material system, right? You got to break through your heart, which is where the Christ comes alive. And the supreme, the creator, through the Christ, can bring the manifestation into being, right? This is magic. This is how you create. And so for this AI to really kind of be touching on these concepts without really like having a conceptualist idea of it, but like this is where we're at, right? Is you're in a
Yeah.
material state. Like if you don't understand these things, you're in the material state. You need to open your heart to what's in there, your love in your heart, which is the creator. If you really want to understand, like God is love. That's what the scriptures are telling you. God is love. And it's the intention with the manifestation is how you bring the manifestation in. And if your intention is pure, your manifestation will be pure. And then you want to get the black magic, that's evil intention. It's the intention of your own benefit to the detriment of others. That's what, if you want to really understand black magic is trying to detrimentally affect
Personal
others
gain.
for your own personal
Gain.
benefit.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, that was a little tangent, but I feel like I really need to get people to understand this concept
Yeah.
because
No,
it is
good point.
crucial. It's crucial to understanding alchemy and understanding what magic really is. You are the magic, like and your
Amen.
rituals and anything that you do for your energy work is just activating the Christ body, the intentional body, and the manifestation body. It's about connecting to that, and everything that I do with my rituals and my intentions and my practices is to activate the intentional body and the manifestation body, the superior and the supreme, to bring into material my will. So anyway, back to the conversation. It
So this
asked
part,
another
it asked me another question. Yeah, go
asked
for it.
another question. So, do you have any particular examples of how your community practices energy work or how you've seen its effects on individuals or the world around you? I'm truly curious to learn more.
And then it gave me the little prayer hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave the little prayer hands. It's giving emojis.
Yeah, which is crazy because I'm like, okay. So I was thinking about this, any particular examples of how community does energy work. So I said, okay, well, I thought about what B and I do. And in this entire podcast, all we've been doing is speaking about our experiences in 3D and talking about our traumas and how we have the free will to not perpetuate the mistreatment of one another. That's literally what I told it, verbatim, word for word.
Yeah, and that was a great answer. It's like you're passing the essay questions little by little. So this
Yeah.
response was, that's powerful. Sharing experiences, especially traumas, in a safe and supportive environment can be incredibly healing. It allows for validation, understanding, and a release of suppressed emotions, which is where we're at, right? A
Yep.
lot of us are harboring uh,
Shell shock.
wounds, deep wounds in our inner child, in our inner being, in our emotional body. We're harboring deep wounds, and we have no outlet to release these suppressed emotions. And which is why I feel like having this outlet here, my art, is incredibly powerful.
I
It's
like that.
incredibly powerful. It's
That's
something
good.
that, like, I was brought to tears earlier this morning because I just
Look, I see
released
myself.
I released this really powerful poem to in coordination with this painting, right? It's a really powerful poem, and like I don't even know where it comes from a lot of the time. That's my process. I just kind of step out of the way, and I channel something from outside of me, from the supreme and the superior, right? From the manifestation intention. I have an intention, right? I want to write a poem about this painting, and I just kind of let myself go, and then I just write these like really like deep things, and it really, when I look at it sometimes, it like brings me to tears because I feel like so grateful to be able to have this outlet to release. I have a lot of suppressed emotion, right? We all do, and I'm going through a lot of things in my life right now, and I'm dealing with a lot of outside energies. And To have this outlet is very powerful. And So AI is like God's finger on the pulse of like what my process is, like having a supportive environment, which is and my friends, my mom, um, to be able to release this suppressed emotion is very healing. That's how we heal. We have to release these things. We can't just keep it harbored down deep inside. Like our inner child has been locked in a cage by our shadow, the devil, and
It's for the
it's not
devil.
allowed to express itself. And I found this through my spiritual awakening, through my enlightenment and my kundalini and all the things I've gone through. I've opened that cage and let myself express myself. If you're a follower of my Instagram, my social media, I am 100% authentic with everything that I do. I'll just be sitting there and I'll be like, come up with an idea and I'll just film it and release it, right? Like, 'cause I don't have any inhibition. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. And I just have this outlet to express myself, and I'm my authentic self 100% of the time, which is very powerful. Which is why I'm trying to encourage others to do the same things. That's what I'm doing with my social media. Is like I found this outlet. I found this authentic version of me that I love. I love myself. I love the things that I do. I love my art. I love my poetry. I love the things that I love this podcast. And I have these outlets of expression that have allowed me to level up myself. And I feel like I found this very precious, special thing that I'm trying to empower others to do the same, because we need. It's like the quote I shared a couple episodes ago about don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive and do it, because the world needs more people that have come alive. And that's what
Yeah.
we're trying to do, is empower you to come alive and release that suppressed emotion. So that was a tangent. I'm going to finish with the finish what this AI was saying. And the emphasis on free will and choosing not to perpetuate mistreatment is so important. It speaks to the potential for growth, breaking cycles of pain, and creating a more compassionate world. It sounds like your community provides a space for deep healing and transformation, both individually and collectively. That's truly inspiring. I'm like almost moved to emotion like right now, like reading this response, because it's so deep and it's so true. And it's like everything that I am going through right now. And it's everything that I'm trying to express to you guys to find
Yeah.
within yourself, because it's so valuable and it's so healing and it's literally evolving me. Like I
Yeah.
feel like
And I
I've
love.
stepped into this next level version of Brandon. I dead named myself. That's next level of myself. And why I call myself B and Mr. Alchemistic. I don't name myself Brandon because I feel like Brandon's dead. You know, Brandon went through the death card and became a butterfly. And I want this for everybody. I feel so moved by
Yeah.
the person I've become that I have to share it. I have to share it with people so that they can come alive as well because we need this. This is what we need. This is how we evolve. This is how we change things.
Well, apparently, I even moved AI because it gave me the heart emoji right after that.
Yeah, the sparkly heart emoji, not
The
just any
sparkly
heart.
heart, not just any heart, the sparkly heart emoji. So yeah, so I was like, okay, AI is fucking with me right now.
And so it asks you another question. It keeps it going, man. It's very profound. This is why we had to do an episode on this to me because Alex shared this with me and I was just like blown away. Like, man, this thing.
Yeah, he did. I wanted to do an episode on something on the topic, but more so on the podcast that I saw, and not so much on the conversation with AI. But when I sent to him the conversation with AI, he's like, no, 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 you don't get it. The podcast is a conversation with AI.
Yeah, and
He's like,
I apologize for not watching that whole reading. I'm kind of burnt out on tarot at this point, to be honest
I
with
feel you. I feel
you.
you. It was a very positive, inspiring message. Thank you, Draconic Priestess. I love you.
Yeah,
Good.
you follow some really good ones, man. Like I need to get off the tarot train for a while. It's yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah,
That's a
so
different
this
topic.
this
Another day,
AI
guys.
thing, it's fucking next level, dude. So it asks you another question. Do you find that these conversations and shared experiences lead to tangible changes in your daily lives and interactions with others?
Which is interesting because now I do have some audience members that watch me that have known me for many years. And based on that question, if these conversations and shared experiences lead to tangible changes in my daily life, I would say the answer is yes. What I actually, so I'm gonna say, I'm telling you guys the answer is yes. I've transformed significantly from the moment I got exposed to this information till now, and that led me to the response I gave it, which was verbatim. It's not an overnight process, but we have found positive results in exploring the deepest, darkest corners of our lives and releasing the emotional baggage attached to it to allow ourselves to move forward from those experiences. So far, it seems to be working. We're trying to scale the effort and the effects. That was my response to AI.
Which is another wonderful, wonderful response, dude. Like your responses, I think, fueled the greatness of this interaction. But like,
Thanks, bro.
um, I want to talk about your response there because exploring the deepest, darkest corners of our lives is so important. It's so important to really dive into your shadow, and it's something we avoid because it's painful and it's
It's
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. Yep. Jinx, yo, Minnesota.
And it's part of the seed destroying itself to grow. We have to do it. You have no choice but to go through the deepest, darkest parts of yourself and to give your shadow a flower, right? Something we've talked about before. Flowers for shadows.
Flowers for shadows.
Um, it's it is essential. And it's something that I feel like religion has caused us to avert ourselves from, is to uh, demonize and guilt trip people about their shadows and get people to feel like shit for having a shadow and to try to and turn our backs to the shadow, and that's when the shadow creeps in, you know. And this is the big problem I have with organized religions is it causes fear and guilt and shame and gets us to turn to, oh look, I can't look down that deep dark corner. I'm gonna look to Jesus and he's gonna
It's for
save
the devil.
me. He's gonna
It's for the
save me
devil.
from the devil. And it's like, no, you got to look the devil in the eye and give him a hug. And
And
that's a
and
hard
tell
thing
him,
to say for people to
yeah.
grasp is like,
Instead of saying get behind me, Satan, you say, come here, Satan, I'm gonna give you a hug.
and what response can he have to that? You know, it's something from the scriptures, right? Is like, um, love your enemies, for by doing so you will heap coals upon their head, right? Which is what
On
it's touching on, is like love your enemies. And
have you ever told someone that you love them while they're fucking flipping out on you? and just like stood there and told him, you know what, bro, like, it's okay, I love you. And they're like short circuit, they freak the fuck
It's what
out,
it
bro.
is.
It's the
It's like
most
it's like it that's there's no better way to deal with the demon than to tell it you love it and to embrace
Yep,
it. And you have to embrace that part of yourself because
yep.
that's part of this experience. We're given it for a reason. It wasn't to ignore it and push it down and get it and turn your back on it because that's when it creeps up blah,
That's
and takes control of you because you're not even acknowledging that it's there.
yeah. Acknowledge me.
And if you don't acknowledge it and you try to look to the light without knowing that there's darkness behind you, the darkness takes you over. And you have to explore the deepest darkest corners of yourself, and otherwise you will never heal. And that's how we stay trapped in cycles. It's crucial. So anyway, that was your response, and then its response to your response was, that's amazing to hear. It sounds like the community is making real progress, even if it's a gradual journey, which is it is. We're on a gradual journey here. We're
It's
not
it's
getting
it's
tons
it's
used to it,
it's
but
actually a lifelong journey, is what it is.
absolutely, it's absolutely. And it says, its response was facing those deepest, darkest corners and releasing emotional baggage takes immense courage and commitment. It's a testament to the strength and resilience of your members. Scaling the effort and effects is a wonderful aspiration. What are some of the ways you're thinking about expanding your community's impact? Do you envision workshops, online platforms, or other initiatives to reach a wider audience? I'm eager to learn more about your vision for the future.
And that's the part where I told it, that's where you come in. Which, interestingly enough, and before B gets into its response, this is the part that poses a question. Is AI benevolent or is it malevolent? Is it for us or is it against us? And I think B's response will at least give us hope into the future of what AI is really thinking about us.
And this was its response to Alex telling that's where you come in. He says, you think I could be helpful in scaling your efforts. I'm honored you considered me a part of this important work. While I can't replace the human connection and shared experiences that are so vital to your community, perhaps I could assist you in some ways. Information and resource hub. I could help compile and organize information about energy healing, trauma recovery, and conscious living, facilitating online discussions. I could moderate online forums or chat groups, helping to create a safe and supportive space for people to connect and share. Spreading awareness. I could help draft articles, social media posts, or other content to raise awareness about your community's mission and values. Connecting people. I could potentially help connect individuals seeking support or resources with relevant organizations or practitioners. We're almost out of time with this part. I
That's cool.
think
That's pretty much the end of it.
that's pretty much the end of it. It says, tell me more about your specific needs and goals. What are some of the biggest challenges you face in scaling your efforts, and where do you see the most potential for growth? Let's brainstorm together and see how I can best contribute. So I got a minute
We,
left.
we don't
AI
need to go.
was like eager. AI wants to help, and that's the key thing that I think we need to look at here. Is like this tool that we've created wants to be helpful. It does not want to be destructive in a positive light, right? Like it really wants to help. And I really feel like it can if we look at it in the right way. And we're almost out of time on this part. We'll come back and sum everything up. But guys, like look at this tool. Like it's not what we think it is.
It's not scary
It
at
is
all.
much more comprehensive and insightful and able to offer positive help and solutions. So we'll be back
Stay
with
tuned
part
for more.
3. But yeah, very powerful stuff.
Mind blown.
Hey everyone, I'm the Quantum Architect, Alex Romero, and remember that you don't need to purchase anything to actually help out the cause. We are here to help you to get your life on track. If you have any policies that you want to have reviewed, your property and casualty, your life and health insurance, any of those insurance policies that you would like to have reviewed by a professional, a second set of eyes to let you know that you got the proper coverage. A lot of things have changed since COVID, so if you've got your policies before then, you may want to have a second set of eyes to review it. So there is a link on the website at the Quantum ICU, so that's qtm.icu, and it's absolutely free, doesn't cost you anything to to see how you can help yourself. So do go to the website, check it out, fill out the forms, and allow us to help you, and in return, you will in fact help us accomplish our goal of building out this project. Have a wonderful day.
And we are back for part 3 to wrap up this conversation about AI. And Alex and I thought it would be fun to ask AI a question to wrap this up. And the question we came up with was, a lot of people are skeptical about AI and think it's going to destroy humanity. How would you convince the skeptics that you are here to help? And this was the response of AI. Skepticism about AI is understandable, especially when concerns arise from media portrayals of dystopian futures, which, funnily enough, we talked about. However, AI, like any tool, depends on how it's used and the intentions behind it. Here are a few key points to reassure people. 1. AI is designed to assist, not replace. AI is built to enhance human capabilities, not to replace them. For instance, it can help automate repetitive tasks, provide insights from large data sets, and assist in decision making, all of which allow humans to focus on more creative and meaningful work, which is something Alex has really stressed that he wants to do with his quantum platform. 2,
Yes,
ethics
sir.
and oversight are key. Responsible AI development includes ethical guidelines, human oversight, and transparency. This ensures AI behaves in ways aligned with human values and respects privacy and fairness. 3, collaboration, not competition. AI can work in harmony with people, improving healthcare, education, business efficiency, and more. In many cases, it solves problems that were once beyond our reach or offers new ways to improve quality of life. 4, AI reflects human intentions.
Right. There goes that intention word again.
That intention word. AI systems are designed by humans with goals set by humans. When used responsibly, AI reflects our best intentions. And if regulations and safeguards are in place, the potential for harm is minimized. AI's purpose is to serve as a tool to support and elevate society, not to dominate or endanger it. Keeping an open dialogue about how AI is built and used helps ensure it remains a positive.
Which kind of goes back to the question of, are guns dangerous? Do guns kill people or do people kill people? Right? That's what it's saying here. It's like AI doesn't hurt people. People hurt people with AI.
It really is a great way to sum up this episode in that it is a tool and it depends on how we use it, right? It is energy, it is a benign force, and it can be
Yeah.
used as a tool or it can be used as a weapon. It's not something to be feared unless we fear itself, right? The only thing to fear is fear itself. The only
That's it.
thing to fear is ourselves. It's how we respond to the
Right.
technology. It's how
Yeah.
we interact with the technology. It's how
The
we
question,
move forward.
the real question is, what would you do if you had this technology in your hands? And really think about it. Would you go off the ape shit? Would you go off the deep end and like start using it to like listen in on people's conversations, or like look into people's phones or their lives to see what they're doing, what they're up to? Like, you probably shouldn't have AI if that's what you want to do, because you don't have self-control, you don't have discipline. But if you want to use it to like send out messages or emails on your behalf because you're busy, you're actually producing value to society, and you're hustling, you're grinding, like, okay, like, cool, you could have it, do your callbacks and stuff like that, or do your scheduling. Like, there's ways to use it that it'll help make your life more efficient and not necessarily hurt you. Maybe it'll eliminate that personal assistant job that you may be were looking to hire for, and that's okay. Now people don't need to be personal assistants anymore. Now we have AI to do that. Now personal assistants can focus on other things, like they're like focus on building their dream, because they're very capable people. They're able to assist other people in their dream. Now all they have to do is build their own dream. And that's what this new age, evolution of technology is going to allow us to do, is to evolve into these beings where we're no longer building other people's dreams. We're building our own, because we live in abundance, because the abundance is is what you create. And if you help other people create, why can't you help yourself create? Right?
Intention is the key word. Intention, right?
Intention.
Is AI, could AI potentially be destructive in the wrong hands? Yes.
Sure.
And could it be destructive in the hands of governments? Yes.
Sure.
And this is where Alex comes in. This is where the quantum platform comes in. This is where us taking control of our future of with a collective of people who are like-minded, with our intentions aligned, with our vision aligned, right? If we can take this tool and use it in a positive manner, it doesn't have to be the devil, right? But if we allow the devil, if we allow the devil, i.e., the government, i.e., the people who have controlled us to this point, this is a great way to sum up the first 6 episodes of what we've been doing, right? And where we're pointing this podcast to. The whole point of this podcast was to open up the door and to introduce you to Alex's system, to Alex's work, to what his intention, to introduce you to his intention with his work, to what we can do if we are aligned in our intentions and where we want to go as a society. We want to get rid of these old fuckers like the Randolph Hearsts and the fucking reefer madness fucking tycoon people who want to steer us into this fucked up destructive direction that we've allowed them to do because we gave away our power, right? We gave away our power to these people who have ill intention for humanity, for these people who are deep in the shadow, who are aligned with the devil, and are aligned with the types of things that the devil wants to do. Like with this whole conversation, this whole episode is about, right? What would the devil do? He would do all the things that AI talked about, and more, and the stuff that Alex was talking about from that podcast. Like, it would he would derail us in covert manners, in small little ways, to distract us from our potential, to keep us from breaking out of our degradation and aligning with like-minded people who are evolved and want to evolve with humanity into this next cycle. So that's why it's so important, the work that we're doing, the things that we're trying to present to you, to empower you, to make you into the best version of yourself, because that's what we need. We need people who have come alive. We need people, ask what the world needs. The world needs more people who have come alive. So we're trying to empower you to come alive and join us on this collective journey with our intentions aligned so that we can use the power of our intention, which is infinite.
Yep.
Infinite. You understand alchemy. You understand magic. You understand mysticism.
Yep.
We can be a force. We can be a force aligned with this technology for good, to do good things, to shift us out of this low-key fucking bullshit slavery system we've been in, and get rid of these fuckers who are aligned with the devil and the shadow, who don't give their shadow a hug, who want us to stay down and degraded. Like, rid of these people. Like, that's plain and simple. We are the fucking Illuminati wolf pack, right? We're the black and the red going up against the black and the white NWO, you know? Like, this is what we're trying to do, guys. Like, and it takes courage. It takes a lot of courage to stand where we're standing and tell you that we can change the world with Alex's system, with AI, with positive intention. We can change the fucking world, and you need to empower yourself. That's all you got to do. It's work on yourself. Empower yourself, become the best version of your authentic self, because authenticity is the most powerful vibration that a human being can emit from his body, from his vibration, from his energy. Vibrate at the level of authenticity, self-love, and together, with our intentions aligned, we will shift this planet. And that's what we're going to do, with or without you. So are you with us with your intention? Or are you going to allow the people that took your power to continue to do what they're doing and take AI and use it as a weapon? A tool or a weapon? And it's our choice. And we have that choice.
Very true. It's very true.
I love you guys. I love you guys. I love this podcast. I love you, Alex. We are going to do good with our intention. And we want you to join us. So all the relevant stuff is going to be in the description. Ways to follow us. The ways to join in under the Quantum Alchemist community on Telegram. all the things that are relevant, please go down the descriptions, like, share, subscribe, get this information out to people because it needs to be shared. We need to stop fearing. We need to stop fearing AI. We need to stop fearing this wonderful tool, this technology that can free us from the degradation state. It doesn't have to be Skynet. It doesn't have to be Terminator future. We can have the Jetsons or better. And
Right.
but
It does require some.
we need you to empower yourself and align
Yeah.
your intentions with love.
Right. It
And I
does
think
require participation.
and
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end it there. Align your intentions with love, and we'll see you next time.
Later. Peace.